Hello， 各位旧金山湾区的观众朋友们，大家好，我是王博森。您现在所收看的是北美红星卫视 TVHS 1.9台。
您现在收看的是北美红星卫视 TVHS 1.9台。
奇妙的人生，奇妙的命运，让我们一起找到生命的意义，揭开灵魂的秘密。欢迎收看今天的命运真奇妙，我是克拉拉。今天在我们节目当中呢，我要为您介绍的是一位专精印度系统的星象占卜以及风水能量调整的专家。今天呢，他在我们节目当中要为我们介绍一种我们平常一般可能很少听到的一种风水系统，叫做区脉风水。我们现在就欢迎 Stephen Kwong。Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Clara. Nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, welcome to my show because you've been practiced like Vedic astrology for like over 40 years, and now like feng shui like for over 10 or 15, almost 15 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and also I know that when you talk about feng shui, you really want people to understand the essence of feng shui. So tell me what does feng shui really mean?
Well, I think everybody knows about feng shui,
yes,
and the fact that feng means wind or air, and shui or sui means water. So there's a broader definition of feng shui which I like to use. It's the art and the science of selecting or designing a house or a building or a property to be in harmony with the environment and to bring out the best potentials for vitality, for creativity, harmonious relationships, prosperity, and abundance. And it's really a universal science. Of course, it was developed in China over 3,000 years ago. But the principles of feng shui are universal, and they can be adapted to any culture, any country, any religious background.
But how does feng shui really work?
Well, working with energies, with qi. And there are different types of qi. Cosmic qi from the universe, the qi of our body, the qi of the land, the qi of human relationships. So we try to understand the nature of qi and harmonize it and direct it in a constructive way. So it's really about energy work more than anything else, and everything else, the selection of furniture, of colors, the placement of things, the design of things, all is related to the understanding of how energy moves and how it affects people's consciousness.
Yeah, but when you talk about feng shui, it's actually science. Yeah, it's a science at the same time, it's an energy work. You know, it kind of really interests me.
Well, energy is studied by physicists and by chemists and by many other hard scientists. So if we look at feng shui from the scientific point of view, there's a lot of validity to its principles, even though science and this Western approach to science was really unknown in ancient times.
So now I'm really curious, but Chinese like to know their like fortune. They like to do astrology, but feng shui also play a very important role over there. But how much influence feng shui really play, comparing with our life chart, our karma, or someone's education?
Well, our environment has a lot to do with our state of health, our consciousness, our beliefs, and the quality of our human relationships, quality of our sleep. So in some cases, even if a person is having a good period of life according to astrology, they're successful, they're happy, and things are going well, their environmental conditions might be holding them back. So we have to look at the environment as a very significant factor in a person's overall health, well-being, and personal success. It should never be neglected.
Yeah, that's very interesting. For example, maybe someone really have a very fortunate years, but his house is maybe like very cold and cannot be able to concentrate on his work or study. Maybe there's some parts that will affect his his study or his career as well. That makes perfect sense.
Yes, that's the whole purpose of feng shui, to identify and to correct imbalances and inharmonies in the environment which might affect our personal life.
And I know, the feng shui you've been studying, the qi mak, feng shui, really emphasize something like barely people talk about. It's called geopathic stress. Can you tell us about that?
Well, the word geo means land and pathic means something negative. So geopathic stress is a catch-all name for energies which come from the earth itself, which cause stress or disease to people and also to their working conditions. So geopathic stress can include things like underground streams which are crossing and forming an intersection of some kind, burial sites, places where there were murders or massacres or battlegrounds, earthquake fault lines, ley lines created by people or by the electromagnetic grid of the earth, and just gravitational anomalies. Even things like radiation and decomposing vegetation underground can cause geopathic stress. So there are many forms of geopathic stress, and most people can feel them. So even though it's not really a popular field of study by feng shui masters, I believe it is one of the most important things to examine when doing a feng shui consultation.
Really? You think most people can actually feel them?
Yes. Some people who have problems sleeping, or who are very restless, or whose hands and feet are cold, or who feel bothered by spirits are often affected more by geopathic stress than by the traditional aspects of feng shui.
So it's very possible, like they have asked someone to do the feng shui, they remove the furnitures and they make sure the door faces the right direction. Still, they feel like something is not right. They still cannot sleep well. So that's probably one of the most factors that can affect this person's, life as well. So people probably didn't know before, right?
Yes, there are many aspects to feng shui. Perhaps the most important is the quality of the qi, the spiritual energy in an environment, and the quality of oxygen, which is the physical carrier for the cosmic qi. Then we look at the flow of energy based upon the principles of yin and yang, the flow of energy based upon the understanding of the 5 elements and their interaction in the productive cycle and a destructive cycle, the influence of the 8 directions of the compass, the bakwa, the influence of time through the study of astrology, then also looking at the forms in the landscape. Where are the mountains? Where are the hills? Where are the rivers? Where's the water? What is the slope of the land? What is the quality of the oil, or the soil, excuse me? And also the quality of the underground energies, and then the quality of the environment as it's affected by electrical devices, electromagnetic fields, which indeed might be the worst thing about a person's house.
Yeah, but I think that's definitely applied to the modern feng shui art, because before people didn't have that much, that many electronic devices. But now we have like a microwave, right? Something else. So how does that affect us?
Well, it's been well studied and researched that certain types of electromagnetic fields affect our health dramatically. In fact, it's been studied in Europe extensively that living close to power lines can increase the incidence of cancer. And even the use of cell phones can increase the use of cancer. And if any of us have worked in an office where there are a lot of computers, fax machines, and other electronic appliances, we know that the quality of air is compromised by the production of positive ions from all these power supplies.
But definitely there's a way to let us avoid being affected by those things, right?
We can't avoid being exposed to it, but we can harmonize things to a certain extent and also build up the level of our personal vitality, our bodily health, so we can be more resistant to all these factors of stress coming from the environment.
So next segment, we are going to talk about some universal remedies that can help us really improve our feng shui. 所以在下节节目当中呢，我们就会请 Stephen 来告诉我们一些大家都能够使用的一些方法，能够让我们增加我们家的风水能量。我们广告之后还有更精彩的节目。
中诚地产服务湾区10多年 ，William Chen Joyce 郭有最好的地产及贷款服务，最具买房卖屋的丰富经验，最了解湾区的市场需求。William Chen Joyce 郭以忠诚的服务态度，能在最短的时间内为您争取到最好的价钱，让您买房卖屋都安心。为您免费提供房屋估价及市场分析，详情请致电408-409-5688，408-409-5688。欢迎您有兴趣的人士加入我们的优秀团队。
INFI.biz， 耶！
老婆，你又在买股票了。
老公，你有没有听过 INFI.biz？
那是什么？
在致富证券的网站，你可以找到各大银行新上市的 CD， 还有 IPO 新上市的债券。
新上市的 IPO 的债券和 CD？
怎样？你再也不能说我只会炒股票了吧？
不愧是我的好老婆，还会分散投资风险呢。
回到命运真奇妙的节目，我现在就跟大家介绍一些这种在风水上面常用的一些工具哦。Okay, so first of all, we're gonna introduce people some, tools that the feng shui master usually use. And the first thing I see is this compass. It looks different than the tradition or other compass I
if
saw
I can show this to the camera briefly, it's a traditional Chinese feng shui low-pan compass, but it's made on high-quality acrylic or clear plastic. So you can place it over a floor plan of a house and map out the directions which are positive and negative and different sections of the chart. Also, the Qimag school, which I studied with, is not well known in the West or even in China, but it's actually the biggest feng shui school in the entire world. There's over 30,000 students and over 1,000 active certified consultants. And the main difference between the Qimag school and other schools is that it incorporates the study of geomancy and working with earth energies, and even things like earth acupuncture, as well as working with electromagnetic fields and working with modern building designs. And these subjects weren't covered in traditional Chinese feng shui.
Yeah, and I heard that it's a plastic, but it's kind of pricey.
Yeah, well, it's made in Austria and designed in Switzerland, so the markings are very, very precise, and it should last a lifetime.
Cool. Yeah, and the second thing I see here is, what is this?
Well, I brought a few small tools to use, and some of them are rather unique to the Qimag school, and others are used by many other practitioners and consultants in other schools. What you have in your hand is a piece of ammonite. Ammonite is a sea animal, like a nautilus, a spiral-shaped shell. And millions of years ago, there was an inland sea in the area which is now Alberta, Canada, and a small percentage of these sea animals died and became fossilized with rainbow colors. And so it has rainbow colors, which are very healing and balancing and calming, and it's also very heavy and solid and earthy.
I know.
So it tends to ground the energies, dissipate stress, and when it's in the shape of a heart, it can be put near the center of the house to be a focal point for spiritual energies, or the energies of love and of the heart, and the energies of the family.
So it's good for love and relationships, and also for you or for the family member to ground yourself. Is that what it is?
For healing as well, because it's fossilized and has natural rainbow colors, it can be programmed or imprinted with very strong, powerful healing energies. So just holding it in your hand for a few seconds can cause you to feel grounded, calm, peaceful, tranquil, and dissipate stress and tension.
Yeah, I did feel that way. That's very cool. So, yeah, but this is also something like unusual for me, anyway, we can show that to our audience,
Yes, and one of the unique principles of Qimag feng shui is that every house should have a focal point called the heart center, where a symbol or a talisman or some object can be energized to represent love, peace, happiness, harmony for the family. So a large version of this pink rose quartz heart could be placed in the center of a house, on an altar or a table, or in a cabinet as a way to focus the energies. And
does it have to be heart-shaped?
Well, the heart shape is the symbol of love and of the heart. So if a home does not have a heart center, there's no real focal point for coming together, unity, and spiritual blessings.
So how do we find the heart center in our house?
Well, typically it should be near the physical center of the house, and if the house has a floor plan which is an odd shape, we can choose an area where there's a solid wall away from doors and windows, which can be energized and determined to be the heart center and function as the heart center for the house.
Oh, I see. So, so it's just for our audience as a suggestion. You can pick a heart-centered rose quartz, and as your, to put over there to make your, family, and your relationship to be very good. Okay, so what is this?
This is a natural quartz crystal teardrop pendant. It's not really a pendant. It's meant to be hung from the ceiling in a large room where you want to improve the quality of energy or qi. Now, natural quartz crystal has the ability to store, magnify, and broadcast subtle energies. So basically, you can program your thoughts and your intentions into natural quartz crystal, and that energy will radiate constantly without a drop-off. Now, if we use glass crystals, like Swarovski crystals, which are leaded glass, it doesn't have the same ability to broadcast energies because there's no real crystalline structure. Glass has an amorphous structure, and natural quartz crystal, including this one, has a crystalline structure which holds the energy.
So we have to choose a natural crystal.
Yes, many people wear bracelets and necklaces out of Swarovski crystal because they're nice looking and they're affordable, but they don't have the same potential to hold and focus energy. So if you compare them side by side, and if you're sensitive to energy, you will certainly almost always feel a difference between the quality of energy from a natural quartz and the quality of energy from a leaded glass type of crystal.
So if we have a crystal like that, where should we put this?
Well, very often the center of a large room is the best place. Or you can use a smaller crystal and hang it over your bed to keep the energy clear when you're sleeping. And if you have a home office, or if your business office will allow it, you can hang it over your desk to stimulate creativity and mental alertness.
Interesting. So talk about crystal. I see another crystal here.
Well, this is a very specialized crystal. It's a design which is used by the Pranic Healing School, a school of energy healing very popular in America and around the world. It has 18 sides. One end is pointed and quite sharp, and the other end is rounded, and inside there is an insert of a 24-karat gold rod. And the result is the entire crystal becomes infused with the energy of gold and has a much stronger healing energy than a natural quartz crystal without any gold. And this design is used to project energy from the point and from the tip in a certain direction. So it can be used for healing, it can be used for ghost busting, it can be used for directing energy into the earth, for neutralizing geopathic stress. So it's a very powerful and specialized tool.
Yeah, I need to tell the audience I experienced that because Master Kwang applied that on me. That was very powerful. Yeah, so this kind of tool can use to energize the feng shui in the house, right?
Yes, we can energize a person, a part of their body, a meridian, a chakra, an organ, but also a physical spot in the house.
Wow, okay, so because everything's the energy, so not only just a human, but also a space, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, so there's one thing I want to talk about is, we don't have that today, but it's the wind chime.
Yes, wind chimes are often used to attract people because of the pleasant sound, and they're often hung in the front of people's front doors or in the front of a business. But wind chimes, especially if they're metal, have the effect of blocking energy.
Oh,
so
really?
if you want to block negative energy from a neighbor across the street or anybody, you would hang it in front. But it would also block good chi, positive energy, from entering a house or a business. So you have to be quite careful where you hang it. So better not to hang it in front of the door or the main window in the front of the house unless you want to block the energies of people across the street.
Oh, so now we learned something new, so make sure, unless you want to block the energy, otherwise don't hang the wind chime in front of your house, okay? 所以呢，我们现在要广告，然后休息一下。广告之后呢，还会再跟这个 Stephen Kwang 再聊一聊更多风水的这个奥秘。我们广告之后还有更精彩的节目。
10年树木，100年树人。教育的重要，大家都知道。学习的过程其实是更重要的。我是 Jennifer， 在美国长大的一个中国小孩子，就像你们的小孩子一模一样，在中西文化及传统和新潮中摸索成长，所以更知道怎么发挥优势，创造未来。Genius Academy will help make your children more well-rounded while giving parents a complete educational experience. 让我们和你的小孩子一起成长 and help them to reach success.
天灾人祸不可预测，千金难买早知道。你有保够了吗？
我是 Farmers 保险经纪 Emily 刘。坐在电视机前面的您，是否考虑过您现在的保险金额真的够保护您心爱的家人与您努力赚来的资产吗？让我用多年的保险经验与知识，为您提供3省服务，让您在保险上面可以省钱、省时跟省麻烦。请今天就致电510-366-2657，510-366-2657。
优必胜全新第2代合家欢高画质卡拉 OK 机震撼上市了。合家欢 BM2000内建 2TB 硬碟，有32000多首歌曲，80%的原声原影歌曲，高画质1080的歌曲画面，以及 HDMI 的高清输出，给您唱得过瘾又开心。合家欢高画质卡拉 OK 伴唱机，让您听歌、学歌、飙歌都开心。详情请洽北加州总代理优唱国际，11866-988-2679，11866-988-2679。
回到命真奇妙的节目，现在我要请教这个 Master 矿哈，尤其是我们住在我们 Bay Area 的人呢，到底呢我们有没有应该知道的一些风水的观念 ？Okay, so I was just telling our audience, you know, we live in Bay Area, and now I know you've been traveling around the world, and now you decide to, you know, settle here. So there must be a reason.
Well, according to feng shui, it's always better to live close to water for prosperity and for better health. So I was born in Los Angeles and I grew up there. And in my youth, I went to the beach many times. And I've noticed that the most expensive homes were always on the hillside overlooking the ocean.
I know.
And later I discovered that that was considered good feng shui, to live on a hillside and to have a view of the ocean, expansive view, and have water close by. So when I came to the Bay Area for school, I attended the University of California, Berkeley. I noticed that the energy was much better in general in the Bay Area than in most parts of Los Angeles, and I decided to live here.
But however, you know, there are also a lot of, you know, beaches or, you know, in Los Angeles, but there's still difference.
Well, it's warmer in Los Angeles, and I do better in a cooler climate, so that's one factor. And I've noticed that in the San Francisco area, there's more of an interest in culture, and it's more of an international orientation, with a good blend of European and mainstream American and Asian cultures. Of course, Los Angeles is also very international, but for some reason, the intellectual climate of the Bay Area appealed to me more than the Hollywood and entertainment influence in Los Angeles.
Yeah. So when you talk about there's better feng shui in Bay Area, so better feng shui means more like prosperity or?
Well, the quality of air is better. There's less air pollution in general in the Bay Area than in Los Angeles. And when the oxygen quality is better, there's more qi, because cosmic qi or energy is carried by oxygen.
Oh, that's considered as part of feng shui, right?
Yes. And then many cities in the Bay Area have a view of the bay or of the ocean. And so if you live on a hillside overlooking the ocean, then you have better feng shui. Now it's interesting that in the Bay Area, the most prosperous cities are Sausalito, Tiburon, and Belvedere. And these cities face the east direction, so they catch the rising sun and the rainbow light of the morning sun rising over peaceful water, which is the bay. So those cities, Sausalito, Tiburon, Belvedere, have more prosperity than cities in the East Bay, like Berkeley and Oakland or El Cerrito, which face the west direction and the setting sun behind the Golden Gate Bridge. So if you go back and forth and study these cities, the energy, the culture, the prosperity consciousness, it's actually better in Marin County.
So how about South Bay? You know, a lot of engineers, they live in the South Bay area. So.
Well, the flatter areas of the South Bay have just rather ordinary feng shui. There isn't good earth energy from promoting creativity. And in fact, many of the top executives from Silicon Valley live in Woodside, where there's better feng shui, more nature energy, less people energy, rolling hills, trees, bigger estates, more water. And many executives live in San Francisco, even though they work in the South Bay.
Okay, now I live in San Jose, I decide to move to San Francisco.
Well, in every area, there are good neighborhoods where it's peaceful, the air quality is good, it's quiet, there's nice landscaping, there's greater prosperity, more educated people, and more spiritual energy. So you can find good feng shui in any area of the country, any city.
And when you talk about, anywhere close to water is usually good feng shui, right? So if, for example, we live in the the South Bay, and maybe just live in a townhouse, if we are facing a swimming pool, does that count as good feng shui?
Well, swimming pool is not created for spiritual purposes. It's for fun and recreation and exercise. So in China, water features like a water fountain or a pond or a man-made lake are situated. They're placed in a place which will maximize the constructive influence of the environment. So it's considered bad feng shui in general to have a swimming pool or a large body of water or a river or a stream behind your house. But if it's close to the front, if it's in the front and to the side, not directly in front of the front door or the main window, then usually it generates good feng shui and better prosperity.
Oh, that's a very good and interesting information that we can share with our audience. But you know, our time's up. I wish that we can talk about more feng shui tips next time.
Okay.
So thank you for coming to my show today.
All right, thank you.
我们要谢谢各位观众今天的观赏。那如果大家对今天的节目有任何的建议的话，也欢迎您写信给我 Clara@tvhsusa.com。那最重要的是，不要忘记我们下周六晚上9点同一时间锁定我们红星卫视1.9台，让我们相遇在命运真奇妙。我们下周见喽！各位观众，大家好，我是克拉拉。现在就我来告诉大家本周星座运势。本位星座有摩羯、天秤、牡羊跟巨蟹座。摩羯座的朋友，你的工作在乏味当中度过，感情出现来自他乡的追求者哦。本周在为自己创造新机会当中找到希望。天秤座的朋友，你的工作陷入进退两难的情怀，感情出现短暂的失落感。本周你需要尝试新的方式处理事情，才能解决问题。牡羊座的朋友，你的工作在新的创意中成长，感情出现远距离的爱情，多多付出将能让你得到快乐哦。巨蟹座的朋友，你的工作与财源稳定，在感情和生活当中寻找平衡。记住要多多参与和小孩子有关的活动，将能得到满足。固定星座有金牛、狮子、天蝎跟水瓶座。金牛座的朋友，工作在旧东家和新机会当中摆荡，感情需要互相帮助成长的空间。本周你要多多注意跟家人或同事之间的口角。狮子座的朋友，工作上派系的斗争明显的增加，感情开始考虑下一步的承诺，下定决心将能够成就你的目标。天蝎座的朋友，你的工作出现意外的好运哦，感情有积极的追求者，本周在好运包围当中度过。水瓶座的朋友，工作中遭受不公平的对待，感情出现新的希望。本周你在现实跟梦想之中找寻平衡。变动星座有双子、处女、射手跟双鱼座。双子座的朋友，工作充实而满足的一周，感情在幻想当中度过，要看清楚梦想和现实的距离才能成功哦。处女座的朋友，工作上要注意契约签订的纠纷，感情在甜蜜的恋爱当中进行。本周在事多繁忙当中度过。射手座的朋友，你的工作上似乎怀着一夜成功的幻想，感情处于冷战的时期，旅行将能够帮助你转运哦。双鱼座的朋友，工作上重视节流胜过于开源，感情中稍显孤独。本周如果你跟随新的方向，将能够做出正确的决定。
您现在收看的是北美红星卫视 TVHS 1.9台。